Have you ever noticed how some people seem to make others fall in love with them effortlessly, while others struggle their entire lives and never manage to spark that genuine interest? If you have ever wondered how a woman truly falls in love, you are about to discover something that could change the way you see relationships forever. And the best part, you will finally understand why 99% of men have no idea how to make a woman truly fall in love. You have probably already tried everything: grand gestures, constant attention, or trying to be the nicest man possible. But the truth is, those methods rarely work the way you expect, do they? What I am about to share with you will completely change the way you connect with a woman, and perhaps even how you see yourself inside a relationship. Deep down, women do not fall in love because of looks or humor. It is not about being perfect or making endless promises. There is a process, a cycle, an emotional chemistry that unfolds inside their minds in a very specific way. If you understand this, you will be able to create a connection that feels deep, natural, and genuine. And the most important part, this process does not involve manipulation or tricks, but a profound understanding of human behavior and female psychology. When you meet a woman, she may notice you, your posture, your calmness, the still way your eyes move. But understand this: desire never begins with passion. It begins with uncertainty. Unlike men, who can be struck by beauty like lightning, a woman's attraction works like gravity: slow, invisible, inevitable. It pulls her gradually toward what she cannot fully define. That is why the man who understands timing always wins. He does not try to force connection, he creates conditions for it. Because feminine desire is not built through pressure, it is awakened through curiosity. Think of it like a seed buried in darkness. If you dig it up every day to check its progress, you kill what was meant to bloom. Desire needs darkness, uncertainty, silence. It needs to wonder. When she does not fully understand you, when she feels your presence but cannot predict your moves, her subconscious begins to orbit you. Every mystery you leave unsolved, every silence that makes her question your thoughts, becomes a mirror where her own fantasies begin to take shape. She starts imagining who you might be, and in that imagination, she invests emotionally. This is not manipulation, it is psychology. The human mind is wired to desire what is scarce and value what requires effort to understand. When something is too available, the brain feels no challenge, no dopamine, no pursuit, and therefore no depth. That is why most men fail. They confuse speed with connection, words with presence, and attention with value. They reveal everything too soon, as if love were a transaction, not a transformation. But what is easily seen is easily forgotten. The mystery fades, and so does the desire. A woman does not fall in love with what you show her. She falls for what she feels emerging within herself when she is around you. Your restraint becomes her stimulus. Your calm detachment becomes her puzzle. She begins to project her own meaning onto your silence. And when that happens, she is no longer thinking about you, she is thinking through you. So, let her wonder. Let her imagination do the work your words never could. Be the stillness that lets her chaos dance. Be the calm that allows her emotions to bloom without being rushed. Because desire that grows slowly is the only desire that lasts. It is not born from attention or approval, but from mystery, timing, and absence. And the man who masters these, the man who knows that attraction is not chased but cultivated, becomes unforgettable. Not because he tries to be loved, but because he becomes the silence she cannot unhear. When you water the plant, it begins to grow, but you cannot expect it to bloom overnight. The same law governs desire. The moment you try to rush it, you kill it. Because real desire does not respond to pressure, it responds to investment. Most men believe attraction comes from what they give. They try harder, offer more, sacrifice endlessly. But the truth is, love does not grow through effort. It grows through exchange. A woman becomes attached not when she receives from you, but when she gives something of herself to you. Attention, time, vulnerability, emotion. Each moment she invests even a small piece of her energy, a thread of attachment forms. And those threads, spun from curiosity, confusion, longing, become the invisible web that binds her heart. This is how human psychology works. Whatever we invest in, we begin to value. It is a survival mechanism. Our minds protect what costs us energy. The more she gives, the more she must believe you are worth giving to. That belief becomes her emotional logic, and soon she is not just interested in you, she is attached to her own idea of you. This is where most men fail. They flood a woman with affection before she has earned the right to give any back. They think love is built by constant reassurance, by proving loyalty, by removing her doubts. But the paradox is this: the less she has to earn, the less she feels. If everything is handed to her, attention, validation, commitment, there is nothing left for her to fight for. And where there is no effort, there is no emotional memory. What costs her nothing, she forgets. What challenges her, she remembers. So the question is not, how do I make her love me? The real question is, how do I create space for her to invest in me? You do it through subtle reciprocity. You listen without overgiving. You show interest without chasing. You mirror her energy, not to manipulate, but to balance. You let silence do what words cannot, make her imagination work, because the mind fills gaps with meaning. And in those gaps, when you are not texting, not explaining, not chasing, she begins to replay your words, your gestures, your silence. Every pause becomes a loop in her mind, and the more she replays, the deeper she falls. It is in this reflection that emotional investment grows, and here lies the secret few understand. You do not create connection by forcing closeness. You create it by allowing distance, by letting her emotions rise naturally to meet you. When she starts to care about what you think, when she wonders why you have not replied, when she feels the sting of your absence, that is the moment attraction transforms into attachment. So, never beg for emotion. Invite it. Never demand love. Evoke it. Because the strongest bond is not built on what you give. It is built on what she chooses to lose for you. And when she starts investing her peace, her time, her thoughts, you are no longer just another man. You become a chapter she cannot stop rereading. Here lies the paradox. The very things you believe will make her love you, being overly generous, endlessly available, chasing with devotion, are the very things that quietly repel her. Why? Because what she truly desires is not your availability, but your composure. Not your eagerness, but your discipline. To a woman, patience is not passivity, it is proof of power. It signals that your emotions do not control you, you control them. And that silent mastery is what awakens both trust and desire. Most men rush to conquer her attention, but the wise man understands that desire blooms in delay. He knows that love is not something you build, it's something you allow. When you move too fast, she feels your hunger, not your value. She senses that your patience is missing, and with it, your sense of self. A woman cannot respect a man who abandons his center to please her, because deep in her nature, she is wired to test the strength of your restraint. She wants to feel that your world does not collapse at the sight of her beauty, that your attention is sacred, not desperate. Patience, then, becomes the language of masculine certainty. It says, I want you, but I do not need you. I am present, but I am not possessed. That tension between desire and control is what ignites the slow burn of attraction, because she begins to feel safe. Not safe in comfort, but safe in your stability. She realizes that her emotions can unfold around you without being consumed. When you stop chasing the outcome, you give her the space to miss you. You give her silence, and silence in attraction is never empty. It becomes a mirror. She fills it with her imagination, her questions, her longing, and each question she asks in her own mind is a thread that pulls her closer to you. That is the hidden science of patience. Every pause you hold creates an emotional vacuum, and her psyche rushes to fill it. This is how women emotionally invest without realizing it. It is not manipulation, it is human psychology. The feminine mind attaches through curiosity, not through comfort. So when you wait, when you let her text first, when you take time before replying, when you let her energy return to you, you are not playing games. You are protecting polarity. You are giving her the space to step into the chase that awakens her own desire. Every emotion in her, fear, intrigue, warmth, wonder, needs air to breathe. If you smother it with constant attention, it dies. But if you protect that air, if you let moments linger, those same emotions begin to bind her to you. She will start to notice your absence, to crave your presence, to replay your words late at night. And that's when the question emerges in her subconscious. Am I falling for him? She may deny it at first, but her emotions already know. Because by mastering your patience, you have mastered the rhythm of desire itself. If you want to strengthen that bond even more, you must learn one of the rarest skills a man can possess, the ability to build emotional chemistry. Most men believe chemistry is an accident, a mysterious spark that either exists or does not. But the truth is darker, deeper, and far more powerful. Chemistry is engineered. It is not born from luck, it is created through presence. Through the way you listen, the pauses between your words, the steadiness of your gaze, the comfort in your stillness. All of it becomes an unspoken language, a communication between two nervous systems. Because attraction does not begin in the mind, it begins in the body, in the limbic resonance between two people. Every tone of voice, every micro-expression, every pause is information her subconscious absorbs. And when that information tells her that you are grounded, that you are unshaken, that you see her yet remain unmoved, her body begins to relax. And that relaxation is the birthplace of trust. When trust enters, desire deepens. And that is the secret most men never learn. Desire and safety are not opposites, they are partners. Only when a woman feels safe in your energy can she surrender to her attraction. This is why emotional chemistry grows slowly, like a fire that must be fed, not forced. Each shared glance, each unresolved silence, each moment where you almost reveal yourself but hold back, builds a magnetic charge between you. It is the same principle that makes a melody haunting. What is left unsaid becomes unforgettable. The more emotionally present you are, the more she mirrors you. Neuroscience calls this mirror neurons. Her brain begins to synchronize with yours. Her mood starts to reflect your calm, her tone mirrors your rhythm, her emotions align with your energy. And before she knows it, you have entered her nervous system without ever touching her. This is the unseen dimension of attraction, psychological bonding. It is why some people stay in your mind long after they are gone. They left a chemical imprint, not through words, but through emotional frequency. Understand this clearly. Chemistry is not a spark you chase. It is a fire you build. It grows through small doses of presence, through the art of attention, through the mastery of emotional timing. When you look at her and truly see her, when you respond, not react, when your energy tells her she is free yet desired, that is when chemistry becomes attachment. It is a slow intoxication, a quiet pull that does not fade but strengthens with time. And the man who learns to build that, to guide emotion without controlling it, to create warmth without losing power, becomes unforgettable. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to be the richest or the most handsome. You only need to become the man whose presence changes her breathing. Because in a world full of noise, the rarest desire of all is to feel seen, safe, and alive, all in the same moment. Have you ever wondered why some women fall deeply for men who are not the most handsome, not the richest, not the loudest in the room, but the ones who seem quietly sure of themselves? The answer is not mystery, it is understanding. These men have learned something most others never do, that attraction is not about spectacle, it is about substance. They do not chase attention, they do not perform for validation, they are not trapped in the exhausting theater of trying to impress. Instead, they let their presence speak louder than their performance. You see, a woman does not fall in love with your potential. She falls for the stability that radiates from your stillness. When a man is comfortable in his own silence, when he can listen without needing to dominate the space, when he stands without begging to be noticed, he emits a signal the feminine mind cannot resist: emotional security. Because in her world of noise, comparison, and constant attention, a calm man becomes an anomaly. He feels like home in a world that never stops moving. That calmness tells her something ancient, primal, and undeniable. I am safe here. And once she feels safe, her emotions start to unfold. She invests her curiosity, her time, her thoughts. She begins to wonder who you really are, and that wondering is the beginning of attachment. The ordinary man who understands this never tries to outshine others. He wins by being real, by not pretending, by never confusing arrogance with confidence. He is consistent, not loud, patient, not desperate, emotionally grounded, not emotionally available to everyone. That contrast is magnetic, because while other men are busy showcasing, he simply exists, and in that existence, she feels something sacred: truth. When she senses truth, she relaxes. When she relaxes, she invests. And the more she invests, her laughter, her secrets, her emotions, the more she binds herself to you. Psychologists call this the sunk cost effect. The more effort a person gives to something, the harder it becomes to walk away, even when they want to. That is the invisible power ordinary men hold. They make women participate in the creation of love. They do not hand it over ready-made. They let her contribute, choose, wonder, wait. And in that slow construction, the relationship becomes hers too. So she values it, protects it, guards it. Because what she built, she cannot easily destroy. And that is why she falls for him. Not because he dazzles her with words, but because he gives her the silence to feel her own emotions in his presence. He reminds her of something she forgot in the chaos of the modern world. That love, at its core, is not performance. It is recognition. The ordinary man becomes extraordinary because he understands what truly moves the feminine soul, not perfection, but authentic presence. He does not compete with other men. He competes only with his former self. And that quiet evolution, that inner solidity, is what makes her feel she has found something rare. She is not falling for his face, his money, or his charm. She is falling for peace, for truth, for the rare energy of a man who knows who he is and does not need the world to remind him. And that is what truly makes a woman fall in love. Not tricks, not constant effort, but an understanding of nature's timing. If you truly want a woman to fall for you, you must first learn to move at the speed of emotion, not impulse. Because everything in nature, from storms to love, obeys rhythm. The key is patience. The second is genuine investment. And the third, the rarest of all, is allowing desire to grow freely. Most men try to engineer love through control. They push, they chase, they cling. But every time you try to possess emotion, you suffocate it. Desire is a wild force. It must be guided, never gripped. There are no shortcuts. This path requires awareness, restraint, and self-command. But what it gives you in return is something priceless: authentic connection. When you apply these principles, you begin to notice something subtle. The air between you and her changes. The tension no longer feels forced, it breathes. You feel her looking at you differently, not because you demanded her attention, but because your energy became undeniable. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, the woman you desire begins to move closer, not with her feet, but with her emotions. She starts to think about you when you are not there. She imagines your voice, your silence, your calm. She begins to align her rhythm with yours. That is when love becomes something deeper, something that cannot be explained, only felt. A connection not built on illusion or performance, but on mutual emotional investment. Because when a woman invests in a man who does not demand her energy, but earns it through stability, patience, and subtle strength, she binds herself to him on a level beyond logic. It becomes instinctual. She may not even know why she wants him, only that she does. This is the natural law of desire. What grows slowly endures. What is forced fades. Everything valuable in life, trust, love, loyalty, must be allowed to form, not fabricated. So stop chasing intensity. Start cultivating depth. Let desire breathe. Let silence speak. Let mystery mature. Because the man who knows how to wait becomes the man who never needs to beg. He does not force attraction, he creates gravity. He does not seek validation, he radiates certainty. He does not need to be chosen because his energy makes choice inevitable. That is the difference between ordinary men and the ones remembered. One hunts affection, the other commands it. One forces emotion, the other evokes it. One seeks to possess love, the other becomes its reason to exist. So remember this: patience is not weakness, it is timeless strategy. And when combined with genuine intent, it transforms you into something women rarely find. A man who does not demand to be desired, but who simply is. If you have reached this point, it means something in you already understands. Connection is not built through words or gifts or promises. It is built through energy, through the invisible dialogue between two souls that meet not by accident, but by alignment. We live in a time where people mistake attention for love and availability for intimacy, where everything moves too fast and depth is treated like a flaw. But the truth is, real connection will never belong to the impatient. It belongs to those who can stay silent long enough for the other person's truth to surface. Every bond you create mirrors the state of your inner world. If you are anxious, you will attract chaos. If you are grounded, you will attract peace. And when you become whole within yourself, you stop chasing affection. You start magnetizing it. That is the essence of power in relationships, not dominance, not control, but emotional gravity. The ability to draw someone toward you without ever stepping out of your center. So as you move forward, remember this. Never seek to be understood. Seek to be felt. Never try to impress. Create silence that invites curiosity. Never beg for attention. Become the kind of man whose absence feels louder than another's presence. Because when you master your own energy, you become the mirror every heart wants to see itself in. You stop being one more voice in the noise and become the quiet that every soul secretly longs for. That is the real path of connection, the one that begins within. The one that teaches you that to love is not to possess, but to witness. To see someone without needing to control them. To let them be, and in that freedom, make them want to stay. If this message resonated with you, it is not by coincidence. It is because something in you remembers how powerful real connection once felt, before the world taught you to fake it. So keep walking the path, keep mastering the silence, keep learning the language of energy, because that is where all attraction begins and where all illusions end. If you want to go deeper into this kind of psychology, to understand the hidden laws that shape desire and connection, subscribe to the channel. Join this space of thought, reflection, and power, and tell me in the comments below, how have you been connecting with people around you? What have you discovered about human desire and your own? I read every word you write, because this space, this channel, is more than a lesson. It is a mirror. Until the next video, walk with awareness, love with strength. And remember, connection begins the moment you stop trying to be loved and start becoming love itself.